Welcome everybody, this is How to English, Teach and Learn with Gav and M.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given where possible. Happy Friday!
Hey Gav.
Hi! Are you ready to start?
Yes, are you going to keep your feet still? Because I think I can hear you moving around under the table.
Can you?
Maybe, a little bit.
I think it's the chair that's creaking, but yeah, I'm sorry, I'm happy.
All right, good. I'm glad you're happy.
It is Friday.
Yes, it's good. It's a nice day, isn't it?
It is a nice day because you know why?
Why?
Because then it's followed by Saturday and Sunday, which are the weekend.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as the weekend.
Yeah, okay. I liked you breaking that down.
Thanks. Have you got something for us this week?
I have, because last week it was about how Gav teaches.
Oh, yeah. And thank you for the feedback from everybody. It was very, very kind. I did forget to mention that while I was teaching I'm doing air quotes now, I was making notes and it was a very interactive thing, which maybe they couldn't see because they were just listening.
Oh, I see. And that would be what you do in a lesson.
Yeah.
You would make notes and then present that to the student at the end or just as you go along?
Or I might keep those notes and then think, okay, I need to teach this next time.
Okay.
Or, you know, it's always just good to keep a record of what's happening in the lesson so you can sort of prepare for the next time and, again, guide the student in a different way.
And that's, like you said, it's a lot to think about, just all that at the same time. I do forget sometimes to make notes.
Oh, it's really important to make notes.
I know it is. With that in mind and that high standard of amazing lesson that you gave, now it's my turn and I hope it's not a mess. My apologies if this is rubbish. But...
Oh, no, don't start like that.
All right,
Your lessons are amazing. Your students love you.
Okay, so, right. How are you, Gav?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you had a good week this week?
I have had a good week. It's been quite relaxing this week, actually. Not the usual number of students, so it's been pretty chilled for me.
Oh, that's good. What about not work related? What about in your free time? Have you been out anywhere? Have you eaten out anywhere?
I think I went somewhere during the week. Did I go? I think I went for a lunch somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like you to be a bit more specific. Like where? What kind of restaurant? Was it something more informal?
It was one of those fancy vegetarian and vegan restaurants.
Oh. So what do you mean fancy?
Well, no, it wasn't really that fancy, but I thought it was quite special.
All right. What did you have?
I had a burger.
Ooh, so obviously not a meat burger,
No,
I assume.
No, I'm not really sure what it was made of. Maybe vegetables. It was very nice.
And did it come with anything?
It came with chips.
Chips?
Yes.
Potato?
So I told you it was fancy. Burger and chips.
Okay, so when you say chips, you mean French fry chips, or do you mean like those packet that you open and eat and they're crunchy chips?
Oh, no, like fried potatoes. Chunky chips.
Chunky chips.
Yeah.
Okay, because they're very British chunky chips, aren't they?
They
chips is like a British thing, but
Yes.
Americans would say probably fries because chips is something different.
Oh, okay.
You say whatever you want.
Maybe you're... you mean crisps.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is a bit confusing. So why did you go to that restaurant?
Because I fancied something different.
Had you been there before?
No, I hadn't.
So it was the first time.
Yes, it was.
Were you impressed?
Yeah, I thought it was very good. The service wasn't very good, but I did enjoy the food. I thought it was very fresh and healthy and delicious.
Would you go back?
I would, yeah, definitely.
So what was the service like there?
Yeah, it was very slow and they took a long time to serve me. And the menu was in a different language. That was really difficult.
Oh, did you have somebody to help? Did you ask the waiter or the waitress to help you?
Yes, it was a waitress and she reluctantly translated some of the food on there. So I identified burger and I went for that.
All right. Generally, it sounds like a nice experience.
Yeah,
the main thing is the food. Yeah?
I really enjoyed the food.
That's good. I was going to tell you the last time I went to a restaurant.
Please do. I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, it was quite a special occasion. So I went there with some friends and we arrived and we said to the person who greeted us, "Hi, we've got a, what's the word? Like, we've got a we've already told you we want to come here, so we've got a
reservation.
Yeah, we've got a reservation.
A booking.
Or a booking, good. So we said, yeah, we've got a booking. So they found our booking and they said, okay, come this way, please. Mm-hmm. And we got to our table and it was quite a nice table. So we all sat down and then they gave us the, you know, the thing that, then they give you like the, what's it called?
Menu?
Yeah, they gave us the menu and we were looking at that and we all chose what we wanted, which was very different stuff, which was good. So then in the meantime, the waiter came back and asked us if we wanted some, while we were looking at the menu.
More time?
No, because we were ready. But actually before that, she sort of said, would you like any, not food?
Aperitifs.
That's very fancy, but no. Like the first thing usually in the restaurant.
Oh, drinks.
Yeah. Would you like some drinks? Uh-huh. So we all ordered cocktails, which was nice because it was a special occasion.
Oh, wow. Was it somebody's birthday?
Yeah, it was my friend's birthday. So we were there for her and having cocktails together, which was lovely. So we all ordered and a few minutes later the food came and it all looked very tasty and nice and we were just looking around on the table and we realised there weren't any...
knives and forks.
Yeah, there weren't any knives and forks. And that other one, which you might need if you're having soup.
Spoons.
There weren't any spoons, there weren't any knives, there weren't any forks. But that's a lot of words, isn't it? So we just said to the waitress, excuse me, we don't have any...
Knives and forks.
Yeah, but that's too long. Isn't there like another word that means all of them together?
Oh, cutlery?
Yeah. So we said, excuse me, we don't have any cutlery.
Oh.
So she's apologised and she brought the cutlery and we all started eating. And then we realised actually the food didn't really taste of very much.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a bit, what's that word? It was a bit...
Boring?
Boring. Yeah, that's quite general, isn't it, though? You can use boring for anything, like a film or songs or whatever. But, like, this is something... I'm trying to remember the word. It's like for food, it's specific to food when it doesn't taste of anything. It's very...
tasteless.
Oh, good. I like it. Tasteless, yes. But there's another word I'm thinking of. I'm sure it starts with B and blah.
Bland.
Do you know bland?
No.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Maybe you heard it before, but it's like tasteless. So it was very bland. So my friend said,
how do you spell it?
B-L-A-N-D. Okay. I'll write it in the chat box.
Thanks.
On our screens as we're online.
Okay.
My friend said, well, maybe a bit of ketchup might help or some salt might help or something like mayonnaise maybe. And then we looked on the table and again there were none of
sauces.
That stuff. No sauces. Yes. Do you know another word for sauces? There's another word that you can...
Flavours.
No, that doesn't really... No, that's not used really. It's another word. It's like mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, all those things together. Starts with C, I think.
Containers.
They're in containers, but they are condiments. Good.
Condiments.
Okay. There weren't any condiments. So it was like, we haven't got anything here. So we asked for the condiments and the waitress bought the condiments and then the food seemed a bit nicer. So we enjoyed the meal. Yeah, and so then we finished the cocktails and my friend said, well, maybe we should have some wine.
Oh.
But, you know, some people like wine that's different. You know, there's different kinds of wine, isn't there? Like, what kind of wines do you know?
Red wine?
Yeah, there's red or there's...
White wine?
Yeah.
Rosé?
Okay. Yeah.
Sparkling?
Nice. Good.
Alcohol-free?
Yeah, good. Okay. And, like, I like it where it kind of makes your mouth... You know, like all the water goes out of your mouth. And what?
Bland?
No, it's not bland. It tastes a lot of something, but it kind of makes your mouth really...
Oh, sour.
No, wine doesn't taste... Well, bad wine is sour, but nice wine, like when it's good, it's like you've actually got no water in your mouth. It's very... What's that kind of thing where there's no water? It's very...
Dry?
Yeah, it's very dry.
Dry?
I like dry wine.
Oh, Dry.
Dry, yeah. And my friend likes it with
Wet.
a lot of... No, see, that's not the opposite. There is no opposite, really. The opposite is like...
Sweet?
Yes, you remembered. Good.
Oh, yeah.
So sweet. My friend likes sweet wine, so we basically had a bottle each, which solved the problem.
Okay.
Okay. That was my conversation about restaurants. I just want to check a couple of words with you. So I'm going to ask you to tell me what I'm describing.
Did you enjoy the meal?
Yeah, it was okay. The cocktails were good.
Okay, better than the food.
Yeah.
Than the bland food.
Yeah, exactly. The drinks were better than the food, and the company was really nice. So, okay, we talked about, what was it? The knives, the forks, the spoons all together. What was that?
Condiments?
No, that was the sauces all together. What was the...
cutlery.
Cutlery. We talked about cutlery, yeah. Condiments. What are condiments?
Sauces.
Good. So we talked about that. What does your food come on? Like when they bring it to you, it's on a...
Plate?
Yes, it's on a plate. Is there any other word for plate that you know?
Probably. In English, probably, yeah.
Okay. Can you think of one?
No.
One which starts with D?
Can I have a clue?
It's a plate.
A dish.
Yes.
Ah.
So plate and a dish actually mean the same thing. Like my dish is dirty or my plate is dirty.
Oh, okay.
But do you know a different meaning for dish connected to food?
Does it mean like a meal?
Yeah, it is a meal. Specifically to maybe a country or to a restaurant, yeah? So you've got one restaurant maybe has a speciality dish.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't mean they've got really nice plates.
Ah.
It just means that they have one thing they make that's really, for them, it's very special. And of course, you've got different dishes for different culture and nations. So you can use dish in two different ways, yeah. Do you know all the different meats there are?
Probably not.
Tell me the meats you know.
Beef.
Yes.
Chicken.
Yes.
Fish.
Okay.
Lamb.
Yeah. What about from a pig?
Bacon.
Yep.
Ham.
Good. One more.
Liver sausage.
Ooh, that's very niche.
Is that from a cow?
I was thinking more common than that. Like there's ham, there's bacon, and there's...
Seafood.
With P? That's not from a pig.
Pepperoni.
Wait. Go back to pig.
Oh.
Ham, bacon...
Pork.
Don't forget pork. Mm-hmm. Yes, all the others are good. Do you know what meat from a deer is called?
No.
Starts with V.
Veal.
No, okay, veal is a meat, but veal is from a baby cow.
Oh, God.
Beef is from an adult cow.
Venison.
Venison, yes. Venison is from a deer.
Right.
There is another word that is for all of those kind of animals that
Roadkill.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard people do eat roadkill, but...
If it's
I was
fresh.
not thinking about roadkill. I was thinking more about any animal that you hunt, maybe in a forest.
Oh, is it called game?
Yes, it is game. So those
Is that spelt the same? Game?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Game. Do you know any other kind of game? There's venison. There's
Pheasant.
yes, other birds as well. One with Q.
Quail.
Yeah, I'm just thinking off the top of my head as well. So quail, yeah, all those. Maybe you're not like someone who eats that. Yes, boar. All good. Excellent. Think about eating your meal.
Yes.
You've got your plate, you've got your cutlery. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're going to need something to clean your face or your hands.
I can see you're demonstrating at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I am.
You're sort of removing the food from your face.
Yes.
Is that called a napkin?
Correct. Napkin.
Or is there another name for it? It's a...
There are other
serviette.
Words. Yes, napkin or serviette.
Okay.
Both are fine. Probably wouldn't say tissue or anything like that. There are special words, even though it's the
Toilet
same.
roll.
No, even though it's the same material. If it's in a restaurant, I mean, napkin. I think maybe fabric. Serviette is always paper.
That's a nice restaurant, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can get paper napkins. I say napkin and I mean the paper ones.
Okay.
But I think serviette's always paper.
Right.
So it depends on the kind of restaurant you're in.
Yes, or use the back of your hand.
Yes, depends what kind of person you are. Gav, would you like a tea?
You know I only drink coffee.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that could be arranged.
Oh?
Followers, if you enjoy listening, watching or reading Gavin M's How to English Pod, visit ko-fi.com/howtoenglishpod.
That's coffee, ko-fi.com/howtoenglishpod. And it would be lovely if you bought us a tea or a coffee to show us support. You could even get a mention on our show if you'd like.
So we've talked about food, but what about drinks? I mean, cocktails, yes, wine, yes, but maybe if you're eating, you want something to clean your palate, to freshen your mouth between... What's the thing you get? You get your starter, you get your main, and you get your dessert. What are those called?
Courses?
Yeah, so between courses, maybe you want to drink something.
Water?
Yeah, exactly, water. So what would you ask for in a restaurant?
Water?
Just water.
Water, please?
And would they bring you bottled water, do you think, if you said that?
Probably. The most expensive one they can find.
Yeah. So what kind of bottled water is there?
Sparkling, still,
Yeah.
mineral.
Yeah, well, I think mineral is like the generic name.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got two kinds of water, like mineral water. You can either have, I think, still or sparkling. And if you go to maybe somewhere that you... I don't know, don't have a lot of money. Maybe you just want them to give you, you know, I'm doing the turning movement of...
Is that the pepper grinder?
No, that's not the pepper grinder. I'm talking about water, just from the...
Oh, tap water.
Tap water. Yes, tap water.
Okay.
How long's that? I think that's probably enough
That was
of
brilliant.
demonstration.
Wow.
So for vocabulary, I am the elicitation queen
Master.
or master. How did that feel?
I was being elicited well. I liked the way you were sort of spelling it out for me, because there were some of those words that I couldn't really remember. That was very effective.
So what you mean, was I spelling? You mean just giving you the first letter?
Yeah, you would sort of go blah, 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 or like
Okay.
this. And that definitely was triggering my memory for the words.
Okay.
I felt like I was on a journey with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it seem logical, the way we went through it?
Yes, definitely. You took me through all the stages of going to the restaurant. So I was actually picturing arriving there with my friends, and as the waiter or waitress came up to me, and as you described, then I went and sat down and I was at the table, and then, yeah, all those things that you were saying were, oh, yeah, of course, I need to do that next. I need to think about that next. I need the menu. I need to think about what drink I want, etc.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was really, really logical.
That's quite good. I think it's nice if students can visualise the situation and also, like kind of think about the stages and the natural stages.
Very logical.
So I think it's worth just thinking about the order. I think I did it the other day with medicine and illnesses language, and I was all over the place.
Oh.
I was going backwards and forwards between you're in the doctor's, you're in the pharmacy, you're in the hospital, and
okay.
it wasn't as good because I don't think, put it into group, categorise it and make it local for, or just specific
Well, you could say
to that.
I was walking down the street and then I was hit by a...
Yeah, if you want, yeah.
and they broke my...
Yeah, okay.
And then I was
the
rushed
grim
to-
version, okay. Well, I think that's it. It's like having a context.
Yeah, I think that really helps.
And this actually, I should say, this was taken from in-company intermediate resource materials. It's actually called A Memorable Meal. They're telling a story, but I liked it because it was really nice language.
Oh, so you actually took it from the page and you were reading it.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see you reading it. You were sort of glancing at it and then describing to me, and then you stopped where the missing word was.
Yeah,
Okay.
and tried to make it kind of like a real person having a conversation that couldn't remember the
Oh,
words.
it was very real.
Yeah, and also it kind of wakes students up, I see from my side. They sort of settle in to think, oh, I'm going to listen to a story now. I can get comfortable and switch off a bit.
Yeah.
And then within the first sentence, you're like, yeah, what's that word? And they're sort of, ooh,
Yeah.
I have to actually do something.
I felt really engaged and I felt like I was helping as well. That you're
Okay.
actually asking for my help, which
yeah,
is brilliant.
it depends on the class or whether or not you want to actually convince them that you don't know the word. I've tried it both ways and I think they kind of suspect something. But as much, if you all go along with it, it's sort of fun.
It is fun. It's loads of fun.
It's quite a nice way to get that language out.
And then you finished by going back through the language, and then what would you do then?
Well, I think I probably would be writing it down as we go along, any words that they don't know on the board or in the chat box. Maybe just at the end present it, give me a sentence using that word. That's what you can do, I suppose. You can.
So there were many condiments, which included the sauce. Then asking them to talk to their partner about their own experience of going to a restaurant using those words.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of groups. Okay, yeah, because obviously we were in a one-to-one.
Obviously, one-to-one, yeah. Then the student would tell you the story of their last experience of going to the restaurant.
Yeah, well, you sort of started with that. That was my lead-in, sort of, when did you last go to a restaurant, which was a kind of basic conversation. So, yeah, maybe the next conversation at the end, after all the language, you could sort of say, right, this time I want you to use all these words in that conversation.
Okay.
So then, yeah, obviously if it's with a group, it's nice because you can mix them up a bit. Like at the beginning, have them with one partner, and then at the end have them with a different partner. So they're telling actually a different person their story. Okay. But if it's a one-to-one, then, yeah, you just have to say, all right, now do it again, basically. We're going to have a bit more of an in-depth conversation.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's my technique, is just to try and exhaust all of the vocabulary I can think of.
Yep.
I've usually written a list of those words. And I think it's nice to make it not too rigid. Don't have maybe a complete text written out.
Okay.
So you don't sound like you're totally reading it. And also because your eye contact as well. If you're not looking at anybody because you're just looking down. That might be a bit distracting.
That's true. That's interesting, yeah. So you might have to learn the story first.
Yeah, I think the more you do it, like I've done that quite a few times, so I kind of know where I want to go with it.
And it doesn't have to be a story from a book. It could be your own story. Yeah. And then you've got keywords that you want to use during that. It could be phrasal verbs. It could be specific vocabulary from that story, whatever you decide.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be a bit of a performance. I think it is one of those things that if you act a bit like, make it very entertaining, it's more engaging and the students are more involved in it and make a big show of, what's that word? The word that they give you at the beginning and that you sort of, when they say it, you're like, yeah, that's the word.
Okay, so be animated.
Be animated, I think. The only thing I wanted to know from your side is, did you feel like you were talking enough?
I talked at the beginning, and then I guess I would talk even more at the end when we sort of did some practice.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I would, as I said, go on and tell the story again, but tell it in a better way with more details, using the words that you gave me that might be on the board or in the chat or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah.
Gives you plenty of practice, you think?
But I think I felt really engaged, so I didn't feel like I wanted to talk more. Like I was missing the speaking practice during the activity because I was really enjoying hearing the story and I was really focused on listening.
Right, okay.
And then I was really thinking hard, what are those words that M wants me to use?
Okay.
So no, I felt it was a good balance.
Good, that's good. I mean, it is a vocabulary lesson, essentially. So, I do tend to do different lessons. I don't have one way of teaching, so that would be maybe a one specific vocabulary lesson. I don't do one teaching style, so really I just look at the language I'm teaching and think about how is best to teach it.
Okay, that's
so
good.
That is one very specific example.
Yeah,
And I think maybe one issue with it possibly that I've come across maybe is I can be a little bit aggressive with like which word it is I want. Like I've had a student once not be able to do it. He couldn't tell me the word I was trying to elicit. And I kept telling him, oh yeah, that's a good word, but maybe there's this word or there's a different one beginning with it. And he was like, I don't know what you want me to say, but I don't know what it is. And I felt like, maybe I needed to come back a bit from the pushing of that.
But in your demonstration with me, you said, yeah, that's a good word. I remember you said, yeah, that's good. That's the right word. Yeah. And there's also another word.
So I've adjusted my technique a little so that it's not like there is only one answer, unless it is actually wrong. Like I think you mentioned one that was just not right in that context.
Yeah.
But I think generally just accept anything, be like, great.
Almost anything.
Try not, anything that fits, and try not to sound like you're just badgering them for one specific word, because I think that's not English anyway, is it? It's not like there's one specific word.
No, often there's a few different words for them, yeah.
That's one tip I think I've learned.
I like that.
Not to be
so
too
how long would
demanding.
you do that lesson, that specific one you just demoed?
That's probably about an hour, I think, like with the conversation at the beginning, eliciting the story language, going into more specific language, and then telling the story again at the end. Probably a good 60 minutes. But I think if you wanted to put in some grammar, then you could maybe, I don't know what exactly would
functional
fit.
Language for requests and
Yeah,
offers.
yeah. Like, could I have, would it be possible, may I have, all that kind of requests.
Give me.
That's good. Give me, yeah, if you want to be a bit rude.
I'll have.
Yeah. And I often put in like a menu sometimes where the students can do a bit of a role play.
Oh, nice. Maybe. Are you the waitress?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's always good.
Where'd you get your menu from?
Oh, I've got various ones from pubs and places.
Oh, what, like real ones?
Yeah. Got a restaurant menu that, I don't know where I got it from. It was just from a pub.
Oh, right.
And it's really good. And I do it in real time so that, like, I go and I haven't let the students look at it for very long. And then I go and say, right, are you ready? And they've got to say, can you give us more time, please?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's
like in a real situation. It's not like, okay, look at the menu for 15 minutes and check any words you don't know with your partner. It's just like, here you go, now choose what you want.
And then in that case, they've got the functional language of, I'm sorry, could you tell me what, coq à l'orange is?
You've just made that up. But yeah.
Isn't that chicken? Oh.
I don't think that exists as far as I know. I think it's duck à l'orange.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Excellent. I really enjoyed that.
Good.
Thank you for your demo, Em.
You're welcome.
I really felt like I practiced a bit there. Practiced my listening skills, practiced my speaking. I felt really engaged in the activity. So hopefully everybody else felt engaged as well, and they've got a little bit of teaching wisdom from you.
Okay. Inspiration.
Brilliant. Thanks, Em.
Thanks, Gav.
And thanks to everybody. I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
The next episode of
How to English.
Teach and Learn
with
Gav
and
Em. See ya.
Bye-bye.